Underneath his white luminous robe, he takes the Holy Graal, lifts it up, and says a prayer in ancient Hebrew. The nun, Frances, trembling with fear, only understands the word Rabbi. At that very moment, a heavy rainstorm bursts out above London, extinguishing the fire. The tower collapses on the other side of the chapel, so that not 1 inch from the roof of the chapel is damaged. The mysterious man puts the Holy Graal under his white silk robe, offers the still kneeling nun Frances his hand, and helps her to stand up. Laying his hand on Frances' rain-soaked forehead, the mysterious figure says, "A seed planted in the ground dies in order to give birth to a new tree, which will bear 1,000 similar fruits. Fear not. Heaven has accepted your prayer. Like the Creator, you will be killed by the godless to gain everlasting life." Then the unknown man disappears in the dark. With a white silk cloth covering her bare breasts, Frances enters the church again and tells all that has just overcome her to the Mother Superior, who in turn passes it on to the Bishop of London. The religious wicked declare the nun Frances to be a black witch, accusing her of blasphemy. In a trial behind closed doors, she is sentenced to be secretly burned at the stake, so that the common folk will not declare her holy. With the flames seizing the body of Frances, her former colleagues, all nuns and priests, mock her. Pray to your saint now to also put out this fire. But Frances lifts her eyes up to the heavens, and with the fire scorching her beautiful body, prays by herself to God, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." The Catholic Church in London decreed that this case should never be made public. And as is the case with so many similar events on this planet, it also shoved this affair under its ungodly altar, affairs that slowly but surely encroach upon church after church and people after people, so that today there is almost no God's temple left where phony priests are not spiritually circumcised. What the London Catholic Church could not hide from the English populations was that all the faithful flock realized that the lightning bolt which had struck the highest English church tower was a warning from God, a warning to those who defile his temple and erect these high earthly towers to approach the Creator as close as physically possible, and to remove the people as far as possible from faith in God, with the result that the people were all the more fervently directing their prayers to heaven. The Londoners then decided that nobody would ever be allowed to build a tower there again. And so it came about that St. Paul's Cathedral had to continue its existence without a tower. In 1666, the year that is known as the Year of Satan, a large fire broke out in London, covering almost the entire city, with dozens of churches burned down. Only St. Paul's Cathedral remained intact. Anti-Christians, who had already formed the majority in London City Hall, were deeply touched by this event and decided to once and for all get rid of the, in their eyes, dangerous church. Despite the fact that St. Paul's Cathedral was not in the least damaged, the city decided to demolish the building. Thereby, the anti-Christians wanted to forever conceal the complete history of this holy site on Ludgate Hill, and so they decided to build a new church there, of which the external and spiritual symbols should represent the infidels, but even there they were wrong. For this church, whoever builds it was, is, and will always be God's temple, especially since the Apostle Luke, who watches over the church and all the faithful on both major European islands, had returned to this part of the world. The apostle visits St. Christopher Wren in secret and commissions him to draw up a design for a church similar to the first original monastery that had the form of an orthodox cross. In the year 1669, the architect Sir Christopher Wren submits his design to the London Assembly, but his design, based on the Orthodox cross, is immediately rejected by the English haters of Orthodox Christianity. Again, on the advice of St. Luke, Sir Christopher Wren brings in the year 1673 improvements to the same design, but the City of London also refuses to accept it because of the influence of Orthodox Christianity in the improved version. However, the Apostle Luke does not give way and dictates Sir Christopher Wren a new plan. In the year 1673, he has more luck. His third draft is accepted. And so in the year 1675, work began on the construction of the new Cathedral of St. Paul, whose round roof from the outside and inside will resemble the cathedral in heavenly Jerusalem. Of course, the anti-Christians do not realize that. And after a construction period of a full 35 years, the new church of St. Paul officially opened in 1710 as London's cathedral. The Christians were proud of their new temple of God, but the cathedral was still a thorn in the eye of the wicked, not only the anti-Christians, but also the arch enemies of the English people. Adolf Hitler, for example. The small mustached Führer had a bad experience in St. Paul's Cathedral during the time that he lived in England. A beautiful Germanic woman who was there with her husband, a Swiss anthroposophist, had openly told them that it is not done during a church service to think about how to obtain God's Holy Graal through violent means. And the anthroposophist added, there is a different way, and that is faith in God. Hitler was surprised to find that his countrymen could read his mind, because he had truly visited St. Paul Cathedral with the intention to obtain, through whatever means, the sacred cup that grants eternal life. And this plan he had confided to no one. Even though he was well informed that the Holy Grail was hidden somewhere in the cathedral, Hitler at that time stopped his evil plans because of the intervention of that couple. But when Adolf Hitler became Führer and began the war against England, he ordered the Luftwaffe on October 9th, 1940 to bomb the small town in England where he once used to live, and also St. Paul's Cathedral, in order to destroy all traces of his quest for the Holy Grail there, where he was unmasked by his countrymen. But again, the heavens intervened. From the torrent of Nazi bombs, only one fell at the cathedral, ricocheting off the roof and causing only minor damage to the Holy Church beside the cathedral, while in a circle of 200 yards around the cathedral, everything was destroyed. The secret Vatican archives also document that Hitler had become afraid of God after viewing all the photos taken by the Luftwaffe that Feldmarschall Göring had spread out in front of him on the table, saying, "Look, my beloved Führer, the heavens are against us, because you want to destroy the church where the Holy Grail is hidden in the temple of the Creator." After seeing those photos, Hitler stopped the bombing of St. Paul's Cathedral, where to this day the Anglican Bishop of London has his seat.